Bob Katter is our longest-standing active member of Parliament and joins me now from Cairns. Bob, always good to chat to you. What do you put it down to, the split between the Nationals and the Liberals?
Wanting more votes to get myself elected to Parliament. And if I'm in the National Party, I think, oh, geez, it'd be better if we were separate now because the Liberals are pretty unpopular. To put any ideological explanations, they were the Deputy Prime Minister of Australia for most of the last 20 years. And if there was something that they did for rural Australia, I am not aware of it. In over the best part of 20 years, they were running the Australian government as Deputy Prime Minister. And if there was something they did for rural Australia, I'm not aware of it. Now, I am aware of things that are happening. We just got completion of the Great Inland Highway. I'm here in far north Queensland. We produce 15% of Australia's fruit and vegetables up here in the salad bowl of Australia. And we've just cut 1,800 kilometres off the round trip from up here to Melbourne markets and backloading for their temperate fruit. That is fantastic breakthrough. Well, I'm sorry, Mr. National Party, you were the transport portfolio and you did absolutely nothing. The first grant for that came from Albanese. The last grant that came for that was from Albanese. What did you do? Absolutely nothing. That's what you did.
So Bob, tell me one thing. Can I jump in here?
People that keep going in the media thinking these people represent rural Australia, they have been the destruction of rural Australia. They deregulated every single rural industry and bashed them into the ground.
So I want to ask you one thing, because there was suggestion before the election that you may have come back into the Nationals. Just explain, was that on? Was that a real thing? And where does it sit now?
That is as likely to happen as it is that I get to have a night out with Nicole Kidman. Maybe it's the wrong analogy, I've got to rephrase that one. That's just not going to happen. And it can't happen because, you know, I am old country party. I believe in aggressive marketing policies. We're not out there to be fair. We are out there to win. I played rugby league all of my life and then was an official in rugby league for the latter part of my life. I never heard a coach say, tell his team to go out there and play fair. They say, oh, we must have a level playing ground. Well, the only people with a level playing ground in Australia, on the planet, is, interestingly, Australia, New Zealand and Canada. And you've got to say the colonial spock marks are flashing neon lights here. The only three countries on earth that went to free marketing were Canada, New Zealand and Australia. And all three are magical economic basket cases and likely to get a hell of a lot worse. And Canada is now screaming because they've had an easy ride into America. They've been on America's coattails and spat upon America for the last 20 years. Well, the chickens are coming home to roost now, Mr. Canada. The chickens are coming home to roost.
All right, bring it back home here now for me, Bob, because I want to know now, the Liberals and the Nationals, do you ever see a situation short term where they can get back together now that they've split apart?
Oh, no, they'll be back together at the speed of light if they look like winning an election, which they don't look like winning for a long time. But they'd be back together with the speed of light. See, I've seen this. This has happened 3 or 4 times before, right? When they go into opposition, they say, oh, the Liberals lost the election, and aren't they terrible people? There's no reason for them to be with the Liberals, so they'll paddle their own canoe. And they'll go out there and make all these statements about what they're going to do or what they'll try to stop happening. Oh, well, wait on. You were there, Deputy Prime Minister of Australia, for most of the last 20 years. Now you're screaming and crying about it now. You'll advocate these things when you can't do anything about it. When you could do something about it, you refuse to do anything about it. And start with Woolworths and Coles, what they're paying the farmers and what they're charging the consumers. And I must admit, Woolworths now is twice cut their prices down.
Yep.
That's because of Andrew Wilkie and myself. Nothing to do with them. Nothing to do with them. Two independents. We had that pig show we put on. Massive publicity. Every single political party said they were going to move divestment legislation. Of course, none of them did except us. We moved it. Now, I think it's time for Matt Caravan to decide his future. Hey, Matt, you're sitting there. You're saying all the things that are the exact opposite of the policies of your party and the coalition. You've got to make a decision, mate, and I think you might be very surprised at how much national leadership you've got if you do make a decision.
Tell you what, always good to have you on the program. Bob Catter from Cairns, many thanks for your time.